Afternoon, everybody. Today is Thursday, the 28th of January. We're really looking forward to the return of our students at school tomorrow after the last couple of days here, just with staff on board. And one of our big tasks has been around the planning for tomorrow morning, how we get our kids into class, get them settled, get ready for the year ahead, but also taking into account the changes in COVID restrictions that have impacted the school grounds. So if you are interested, it's fairly easy to find these sorts of restrictions. You can go onto Google and do a Google for Advice for Families, New South Wales Department of Education, and the top hit there outlines exactly what we can do at school, how we need to manage the school site, etc. And you can see that this update was done on the 27th of January. However, it's fairly common to get an update most days, and we need to make sure that we are on top of that. Our current plan is to make sure that as much as possible, we're sticking with the plans from last year, and we do expect some updates in the next few days because things seem to be moving and relaxing fairly significantly. One big change we've got this year is where we have visitors to the school grounds, we're now required to have two types of sign-on, one that comes from Service New South Wales and one that comes from the Department of Education. So up on the screen here, you can see on the right, we've got the external visitor COVID-19 declaration. That's from the Department of Education. It's got our school logo on it. And it's a declaration that not only records you being on the school grounds, but also it's a self-declaration that you're safe, you're well, you have no COVID symptoms. On the left-hand side, we've got the Service New South Wales sign on, which you'd all be fairly familiar with. It just simply records who is at school at a particular time. And we've got them set up, of course, so a QR code will do both of those. So that means that while there are some additional visitors allowed on the school grounds, there is additional processing time required for everybody as well. So tomorrow morning, we all start back here at school. There's a staggered start for preschool and for kindergarten. The rest of the students will go to class into the classroom. There is a wet weather report predicted, and we've decided that we will declare it wet weather no matter what happens. They'll all go to class tomorrow. They will stay in those initial classes, being their old 2020 class, for about an hour and a half or so, and then we'll take all the students to the hall after gate duties have finished for the staff, and we're all on board, divide into our new classes, and then commence the school year. I'm going to outline what all of those morning and afternoon arrangements will look like, but you'll appreciate as I go through that particularly in the next 2 days, some of these arrangements will go for several hours for some staff. So the availability of us in the mornings sort of does slow down a fair bit, but we think it's important to get the students in, and it certainly is reflective of the government's wishes to have particularly our younger students into class and well settled. So let me have a look and I'll see if I can outline exactly what it looks like for our kids here at school. Sharing my screen, and you can see we're going to start off with what happens with preschool students. So preschool blue starts tomorrow, preschool red starts on Monday. All of the preschool parents have been assigned an arrival time. Now those arrival times will be sometime between 9 AM and 10:30. And it's important that nobody arrives outside those times, or it's going to be very difficult to manage everybody out on the street. All of the preschoolers will come in through Copeland Road as they have for the last 9 months. But we were doing the sign-in up on the street there with me rather than down near the canteen. So the idea is parents will arrive at Copeland Road 5 minutes prior to their assigned drop-off time, complete the 2 sign-in requirements, one for Service New South Wales, one for education. They'll follow this red line up to the preschool, sign in their child, and then they will leave, and that will happen all the way through that morning session for tomorrow, and then need to be repeated on Monday with the blue class. The ongoing arrangement will be much more reflective of how we did things last year. So what will happen in an ongoing basis until we get a change of advice is from 8:45 AM, the preschool parents will report to Copeland Road with their preschooler, complete the 2 sign-in requirements, head up to the preschool, drop their child off, and to leave. Of course, our preschool doesn't open till 9, so there's very little point arriving early. Otherwise, it just makes for a long wait out on the street, really. So 8:45 is when that will start. In the afternoon, We will repeat the process. So from 2:45, we will start the sign-in process at Copeland Road. Both of those sign-in processes can be completed. Parents will then follow the red line up to the preschool to sign their child out. If there are older siblings here at our school, they will be collected prior to your arrival and will be waiting in front of the preschool, and you can then leave the school grounds as a family group. Kindergarten will be commencing tomorrow, and traditionally at our school, for the first week and a half, parents would take their kindergarten student to the classroom, and we're keen for that to happen to help the kindergartners have a settled start. For the first day, so just for tomorrow, parents have been assigned a drop-off time at either 9 o'clock or at 9:30. So if you're a 9 o'clock drop-off person, drop-off family, you can complete the sign-in procedures at Mariana Crescent from 8:45. So not before, but from 8:45. You can then take your child down. We'll have some staff available to help get them into their classes with their new teachers, and then you can leave. If you're the 9:30 cohort, you can start that sign-in process at 9:15 at Mariana. In the afternoon, we will do the reverse. So kindergarten parents from 2:35 can complete the sign-in process at Mariana. They can then follow the blue line, which is a concrete path in reality, down to their child's classroom, collect the child, and then leave via that blue line. It's important that we do that within those time frames because that path is actually used by both the Year 1 and 2 teachers and students, as well as by the unaccompanied students when we get to 2:55. So you can see we've got some tight time frames here. Same with all of the students at the school, though. Any student may enter the school ground unaccompanied at 8:25 and will be supervised, and that's been the same, COVID or not. The Year 1 and 2 students, for the first 3 days, we recognise that there will be some students for whom it's important that their parents would help to get them into school and to get settled. So any student, including the Year 1s and 2s, can enter the school ground unaccompanied from 8:25 and will be supervised as per our normal school arrangements. Tomorrow we're declaring a wet weather arrangement, and so the students will go straight to their classroom. For the Year 2 students, that is simple because their classrooms are available and ready for use tomorrow. The complication for the Year 1 students, that is the 2021 Year 1 students, is that they will be going to the library tomorrow for some time in the library, but we will have staff to help get them down there. Alternately, from 8:45, should parents choose to escort their children, their Year 1 or the Year 2 children in, that's quite fine. You'll need to complete the 2 sign-in processes at Mariana Crescent. The green line represents the walk up to the building, which is what will happen tomorrow. Year 2 students will go upstairs, parents can drop them at the bottom. Year 1 students can be escorted to the library and they can be dropped off. What will happen on Monday and Tuesday, though, is we will hopefully, if it doesn't rain, we'll have our normal morning lines. The parents in that instance would escort the children around, drop them at lines, we'll go to class and parents can leave the grounds. Don't forget, though, of course, should you choose to send your child in unaccompanied, that can happen from 8:25 a.m. We have a new support class commencing tomorrow, and we were moving downstairs into the downstairs support classes, and there's been a new playground area built in front of those downstairs classrooms. There may be some support students for whom it's quite appropriate for them to enter the school grounds unaccompanied from 8:25, which has always been the case, and they can head off to class. For students that require some additional support in settling in, those parents can enter from 8:45 with their students. You can see the purple line here, complete the 2 sign-in procedures, and they can then head to that downstairs playground area where Miss Binning will meet you, and she has an arrangement to help get those students into class. There are some standalone arrangements and start times for our kindergarten students over the next couple of days, and Miss Binning has already been in contact with parents to help get that organised. In the afternoon, there may be a reverse arrangement, so some students may require a parental pickup. That can happen from 2:45 following a dual sign-on, or alternatively, there'll be some students that are quite capable of being aligned with the rest of the school and would exit the school grounds as per normal. So I guess the important message here is Any student can enter the school grounds unaccompanied from 8:25 and be supervised. The support students requiring additional support, those parents could enter from 8:45 via Copeland after signing in, and the kindergarten, year 1 and year 2 students have a Mariana arrangement from 8:45 next week as well. In the afternoon, our plans will be very reflective of what we were doing at the end of 2020. The students will be marshalled into their house groups, and they'll exit. 3 to 6 students, along with their year 1 and 2 siblings, will exit through the range of gates I've got marked on the screen here. So Warragul, being the red house, the students in 3 to 6, along with their younger siblings, will exit through the Copeland Road group. Buru will exit through Bougainville, and we'll have Coolah and Dewby through the Mariana Crescent gate. The students in years 1, 2, and any kindergarten children who have not been collected by their parents will be marshalled through the Mariana Crescent pedestrian gate, with the teachers handing them over to a responsible adult. That would leave the preschoolers, who will, just as last year, be collected from the preschool. We will make sure that their older siblings are there so that the preschool family groups can leave as one unit through the Copeland Road gate. To make sure that things are as simple as they possibly can be, and that we've got a fairly predictable plan. If you are a returning family or a returning student, you'll be well familiar with most of those plans, with the small exception of kindergarten arrangements, and for the next 3 days, the morning arrangements for year 1 and year 2. Again, the big message is there is no problem with a student arriving at school unaccompanied at 8:25. It is important, however, that the times that we've discussed for parents who are escorting students to class, being kinder, year 1, year 2, preschool, and some of those support students, parents, that they stick to the timeframes that we've outlined. As you can appreciate, the dual signing is likely to make things just a little bit more complicated, and there's a fairly big time implication on the school, and our priority is to make sure that we've got everybody in class, teachers in front of the kids, and everybody learning. So that's how we're going to start our year off. I'm really looking forward to seeing the students tomorrow. As you appreciate, we'll reflect on tomorrow morning's plans to see how they all turn out. And I would expect another video update tomorrow afternoon, which will outline our school structure, introduce you to any new staff that we may have. And should there need to be any tweaks to the plans we've outlined, we'll get them organised for tomorrow. But other than that, from me, enjoy the last afternoon of the school vacation, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.